everyone, Assalamualaikum. I am the first presenter. My name is Khadijah Husnain binti Zainal Arifin. I will begin with our topic today, Occupational Safety and Health Administration in Malaysia, which we are familiar with OSHA. So here's the introduction of OSHA. It was gazetted on 24th February in 1994. So the act was being called as Occupational Safety and Health Act 1994, known as OSHA. OSHA existed to secure the safety, health, and welfare among all Malaysian workforce and to protect others against risks in the workplace regarding any activity. Now let's together go through with the timeline or history of OSHA in Malaysia. So I will begin with 1967, whereas Parliament approved the Factory and Machinery Act in that year. But unfortunately, it only covers occupational safety in machinery area without covering the other industry. And then later on the next year, and later on 1970, Factory and Machinery Act together with 8 other regulations under the same act were enforced to overcome the weaknesses in the Machinery Ordinance 1953, and few more activities and section like the formation of anti-pollution section in the year 1971. Meanwhile, the next year is 1980. Industrial hygiene upgraded its status to industrial hygiene section. Thus, petroleum safety activities in the formation of petroleum safety section begin in the same year, whereas most of other industry has begun to improve the performance of the safety regulation. And now in 1985, Department fully enforced regulation of safety measures and transportation of petroleum. In the same year, Department carried forward a suggestion to establish a National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health to the National Advisor Council of OSHA. And then the suggestion has been approved by the cabinet. In 1991, the opening was done a year after that by Minister of Human Resources in December. In 1994, new legislation was made for the occupational safety and health. Parliament approved the Occupational Safety and Health 1994 Act in the year 1993, and it was gazetted on February 1994. So this legislation was made as it considered that occupational safety and health only cover few fields, which are manufacturing, mining, quarry, and construction industry in Factory and Machinery Act 1997, whereas it does not cover the other industries. So OSHA, to be concluded, is very overall of any industry field regarding the safety, protecting the safety of work. Now, 4 main objective of OSHA is first to secure safety. Safety of what? Safety, health, and welfare of a person at work against any risk for their safety and health during any activities for the person at the work. Second, to protect the person at a workplace other than person at work. For example, maybe an outcomers. For example, maybe the office has only five workers, and suddenly we make some collaboration, and there are few workers coming to us. Not just our 5 workers need to be ensure the safety, but whoever come to us, we have to ensure the safety, especially in the heavy duty industrial. The location of the office might be dangerous, so the manager should ensure the safety of everyone inside the workplace and environment. Third is to promote an occupational environment for person at work, from physiology and psychology. Psychology is like to ensure the workplace are not stressful and there are stress management, and in short, non-stressful environment work. Okay, and third and the last one is to provide the means, which is, okay, I will just conclude on this one, whereas it might not be a specific regulation for your specific department, but as long as the regulation was being amendment a little bit according to your section or maybe department, it's okay as long as it's under the same meaning of regulation in OSHA Act. I will proceed with the principle of accident prevention in 1956, which are being put forward by the Ministry of Labour and National Service in UK. Alright, the first principle is essential part. It is an essential part of a good management and a good workmanship for accident prevention. And the second is management and worker must be willingly and wholeheartedly giving a cooperation in securing freedom from accident. 3, top management should lead organizing safety, as they knew more and they know more about their specific department in the industry. Okay, and fourth is in each and every workplace, for example, maybe inside an industry they have like 4 departments, so each 4 departments should be placed notice at the back, like procedure notice, like that. Yeah. And fifth is it is necessary for the organization and resource to ensure the existence of the policy. And last is that it is important to implement the best available information and together with the method to ensure the safety and prevent from any accident happen, which we don't want it to happen.
Hi, Assalamualaikum. My name is Mirza Hanin Zulkifli, and today I would like to present to you on the general duties of OSHA. There are 3 sections under the general duties of OSHA, which are general duties of employer, general duties of manufacturer, designer and supplier, and last one is general duty of employee. I'll begin with general duties of employer or self-employed. The first and second point I explain under the law OSHA. Employer has a responsibility to provide a safe workplace, provide a workplace free from serious recognized hazards, and comply with standards, rules, and regulations under the OSHA. Thirdly, duties of the employer including providing information, instruction, and supervision to the employees to protect the health and safety of the employee. And fourth, if the employer owns more than 5 employees or more than 5 persons, a written policy should be required. If the employer found guilty to comply, he will be fined 100,000 ringgit Malaysia or 2 years imprisonment or both. Next is general duties of manufacturer, supplier, and designer. They must ensure that machineries or substances supplied are safe and without health risk when used. Second, they have to arrange for necessary testing of machineries or substances supplied. Third, provide sufficient information and training regarding the machineries and substances safe usage. Fourth, carry out necessary research to minimize any risk to OSHA that may arise. And lastly, they have to ensure the safe installation of machinery supplied. If they fail to comply, they will be fined 20,000 ringgit Malaysia or 2 years imprisonment or both. Moving on to the general duties of employee, it shall be the duty of every employee while at work to take care and to ensure the safety of himself and other persons who may be affected by his acts or omission at work. The second is to provide full cooperation with his employer or any other person in the discharge of any duty or requirement imposed on the employer or that the other persons by his act or any regulation made under The third one is to wear or use all times any protective equipment or clothing provided by the employer for the purpose of preventing risk to his safety and health. This last one is no misuse with any activity or instruction carried out in the interest of OSHA. The penalty for failure to comply with the regulations, the employer will be fined 1,000 ringgit Malaysia or 3 months imprisonment or both.
My name is Muhammad Hafizuddin bin Jamaluddin, the third presenter in this group. So, firstly, I want to present about the OSHA management system in the organization. Firstly, is the policy. Second is organizing. The third is planning and implementation. The fourth is evaluation, and the fifth is the action for improvement. At the policy have 3 points that must we know. Firstly is to protect employees or employers to make their organizational structure become good. Okay, firstly, the employees must work with their skill at their job to avoid the risk at the health and the safety of the employees. Okay, policy must be understand and with the signature of the upper party. For example, in Malaysia, the bahasa Melayu is we use and we almost Malaysian know the bahasa Melayu and the bahasa Inggeris. So we can use both language at the policy to make sure the employees understand about the policy and to avoid the illegal action. The employees must have the signature from the party to do the work. Okay, if they are not understand about the policy, this can be a big problem to the organizational because that can have many problem in the future. And to avoid this, the step that can we do is to make the policy to publish to the workers and to the manager, also to the employees or to the employers, to make sure they are reminds about the policy. Okay, we go to the organizing. There are 5 important key points that must we know. Firstly is the communication. The communication is very important because if we don't know what the employees or the employees say to us or to the workers, among them they're useless to understand each other. Okay, about the training and the competencies, the training to the employees and to the employees is very important because without sufficient training, they can be lack at their professional, and they must be trained to make their work become good. Okay, and the third is responsibility and accountability. If have the problem or accident at the work or at the site, the manager should be responsibility about the accident or the problems that happen to their workers or to their employees, to make sure to solve the problem. Okay, finally, the structure and process, also the OSHA documentation. The structure is very important too, because without the structure we cannot to make a good organization, because the structure can be present about their, okay, also about the OSHA documentation. There is if happen problem at the future, we can follow the OSHA documentation to make the with a good guide in the future. Finally is the planning and the implementation. In this stage, there are 2 points that we must know. Firstly is the planning, and the second is the hazard prevention. In the organizational, planning is the important, because without plan, the our job or our strategy to make the business become successful in the future ways. So we must plan with a good plan to avoid the useless action in the future. In the hazard prevention, we must the employers or the employees must aware about this, because this can be risk to their health or to their safety.
My name is Muhammad Razik Rambil Hasim, and my metric number is 2020-816554. Okay, so for the next point is evaluation works. In evaluation works, it contains of 3 cycles, which are performance monitoring and measurements. Second one is audits, and the third one is management review. Okay, evaluation works need to be done because a property manager can keep an eye on the occupational safety and health management system to ensure that the management system is in its track. Besides, by the implementation of evaluation cycle, a property manager can check something out with the strategy from the management system to meet all the objectives and goals of the organizations and its stakeholder. Okay, so for the next point is action for improvement. Action for improvement contains of 2 actions, which are first, preventive and corrective actions, and another one is in continual improvement. Okay, preventive and corrective actions can be defining as an action to remove any potential and non-conformity causes to avoid from undesirable situation. It can be done by identifying and analyzing the root factor for any potential causes. Okay, next. The purpose of continual improvement is to do an ongoing improvement on a product, services, and process. Example of things that need to take into considerations in continual improvement are occupational safety and health objective of the organization and the outcome of management review.
For the first contribution, OSHA has contributed to do an inspection at workplace. A safety and health committee will do an inspection at the workplace at least once in 3 months if there is anything that related to the safety and health of person that which is workers. OSHA has provided the committee to do the further inspection at the workplace. The purpose is to check the effectiveness of the measures taken to ensure the safety and health of persons at the workplace. So from this, it has proven that OSHA is very important in ensuring the level of health and safety of employees, whether in public or private sector, is always in a safe condition. So when the OSHA committee do an inspection at workplace, if there are circumstances such as that injuries or disease that has happened at the workplace, they need to record the details of circumstances in a report keeping for such related purpose. Then OSHA committee will make recommendation to the employers on the remedial measures to be taken on any material prejudicial to the safety and health of persons at the workplace, and shall record such recommendation in the report. For the second contribution is OSHA is contribute to do investigate into any accident. A safety and health committee shall inspect the workplace as soon as it is safe to do, such as any accident, near miss accident, dangerous occurrence, occupational poisoning, or occupational disease has happened at the workplace. Where a person is employed as a safety and health officer, he shall furnish the chairman of the committee with a report of his findings subsequent to do an investigation conducted by him into that accident. After that, a chairman need to convene a meeting of the committee to discuss that report. If there are no safety and health officer is employed at the workplace, the employer or his authorized manager need to inform the chairman or the secretary of the OSHA committee for any accident that related to the safety and health that has happened at the workplace. Then after that, OSHA committee that have duty on this shall convene a meeting to investigate into such incident. Next, after that, the meeting of OSHA committee will discuss of any incident that has been reported and make recommendation to the employers of the measures to be taken to prevent the incident happen again. Last contribution, OSHA has contributed to prevent the hazard at workplace. As an information, hazard is a source or a situation with a potential for harm in terms of human injury or ill health, damage to property, damage to the environment, or combination of this. So in preventing any hazard at workplace, OSHA has issued a standard about hazards for a wide variety at workplace that is including of toxic substances, harmful physical agents, electrical hazard, fire hazard, trenching hazards, hazardous waste, infection disease, fire and explosion hazards, dangerous atmosphere, and machine hazards. OSHA also stated that if there is any hazard as above, as that I have said just now, the employer will be fined. So from that, the employers will be more careful in ensuring the safety of employees. So for the conclusion, OSHA has played a big role that and give many contributions to the workers with their committee members in ensuring the safety and health of workers are always in good condition. Therefore, the result of all this contribution bring the good effects to the industry, especially in reducing the safety issues. Thank you.
My name is Fakunisa Saira and I will talk about OSHA important requirements. So, in this slide, for my first point, under section 28, where employee need to undergo audiometric test for noise hazard, lung fungi test for dust hazard, and blood transfusion test for chemical hazard. So any individual who are not undergo this test will be fined 5,000 ringgit or indictment or detention not exceeding 6 months or both. So my second point under section 29, where under this section, employer expected to recruit safety health official who operate building for a total contract of 20 million ringgit and other equipment that have more than 100 employees. So employer also need expected to provide suitable facilities for safety and health official, including the training equipment and also to adequate information to them. So my third point under section 30, where committee of safety and health shall consist of a chairman, either authorized employer or manager, a secretary, representative employer, and employees. So approved manager must be issued a letter of authority, and if there are less than 100 employees, then each employer and employee must be at least 2 members. But if more than 100 employees, at least 4 members must be present. So they will establish as a platform to cooperate and cooperation between the employer and employees and develop internal factor to improve the occupational health and safety, and also ensure the effectiveness of this method. And lastly, under section 32, accident means incident that occurs in the period of work that resulting in fatal injuries and non-fatal injury. Fatal injury means the injury lead to immediate death or death within 1 year of an accident, while non-fatal injury means lost time injury that prevent employees from performing in work normally and lead to inability to work permanently or temporarily. Next is the function of Safety and Health Committee, which is under section 31 that lists out the function, and also been described under Regulation Security Committee and Health 1996. So as you can see on my slide, so from time to time, the Safety and Health Committee will make a recommendation to employer on safety and health issues. So if employer cannot be under this control, the Committee on Safety and Health shall provide its reason for adopting some of the recommendation. And if the committee is not in an agreement with any reason given, the committee shall request the Director General, which is property manager, to make an inspection to workplace.
Occupational Safety and Health Act OSHA started to exist due to public voices to avoid injuries and accidents in the site area. However, there are still employees or even manufacturers that are still do not comply with the rules that been implemented by the administration. The first one is condition of workers, such as lack of safety awareness and lack of coordination. As an example, according to an incident that happened in Batu Gajah that located in Perak, Malaysia, there was a reported death of an employee due to the non-compliance of OSHA. The investigation found that there was an enormous waste of cement mixture being taken off from the above level while the employee was on duty near the shoot area. Preliminary investigation by Department of Occupational Safety and Health (TOSH) Perak found out that the employer failed to establish a safe work system for the work activities carried out. The employers was being issued 9 notices of prohibition, and the activities on site was ordered to be stopped immediately until the notice is complied with. TOSH Perak will take legal action against the responsible party if it is found that there are violations against publication of Occupational Safety and Health 1994 OSHA. The second point is safety management, such as inadequate instruction, those are not enforced, safety ignorance, hazard ignorance, and no safety device. Such as another example, another incident happened in a factory that located in Johor, whereby a foreign employee died because of a precast concrete mold that crashed onto him. The employee was on duty
to clean the mold as a procedure before proceed to the next activity. The investigation found out that the factory was not registered with OSHA, and it was believed that there was no OSHA system in the factory. This case also happened because of the work were being held without safety procedures. Besides that, there was no risk assessment conducted for the related work. Action that can be taken includes Section 15.1 OSHA 1994, failure to ensure so far as practicable the safety, health and welfare of employee at work by providing safe operating procedure SOP provisions, hazard identification, risk assessment and risk control hierarchy for work activities that cause accidents. The employers can be fined up to Rm 15,000. Third is physical conditions such as fatigue, unqualified workers. In 8 October 2018, there was a worker that being reported in the transportation factory in Selangor. The worker was a lorry driver that being crushed by a container that fell from a higher level during the container transferring process. The investigation found out that the main reason is that there was no training records for the operator that was on duty on the container transferring process. It became worse that they failed to report the incident happened to OSHA. Action that can be taken in Regulations 2004 OSHA 1994, failure to send accident reports within 7 days to nearest OSHA office as a proof form about dangerous occurrences which causes serious bodily injury as specified in second schedule. The employers can be fined of Rm 8,000.
Okay, so in short terms, OSHA is an act that provides a legislative framework to take care of safety, health, and welfare among the occupiers, workers, and invitees in a property from any incidents. Example of incidents that can be occur are natural disaster, epidemic of disease, and structural failure. In facing those problems, a property manager must have an emergency management plan that consists of emergency response teams, emergency and evacuation procedures, training and conducting evacuation and emergency drills. Furthermore, a property manager must ensure that the property under his supervision complies and follows all the specifications from Department of Safety and Health, OSHA, and other related regulations. To wrap this up, OSHA is a factor that can sustain business and also property value. It is because when incident happens, the management team are well prepared in facing those problems. So, the organization and the management team will gain trust from the investor and the tenant. And also, the investor and the tenant feel more secure in investing, occupied, and rents the property. Last but not least, all the personnel need to work together as a team in ensuring the effectiveness of OSHA implementation in sustain the business. Thank you. That's all from us.